All right, everybody, welcome back. We have another edition of our podcast this week, and we have a special guest today. We have Binstock, who runs our entire KWYP. So, Cami, why don't you go ahead and say hi and just introduce yourself for anybody who might not know who you are.
Awesome. Thank you, Connor. And thank you, Greater PA, for having me on your podcast. As Connor said, my name is Cami Binstock. I am the KW Young Professionals Community Manager. My job description varies per day, and my favorite thing to do and what I love to say about my job is I create opportunities for young professionals at Keller Williams. So whether that be launching local chapters or helping our members identify what their goals are and helping them get to where they want to go, or just being a sounding board and being a really good listener. Sometimes people need that, just someone to be there to listen and to bounce ideas off of. So that's a little bit about what I do, who I am, and what gets me going every morning.
Yeah, I mean, knowing you, the fact that you said what you have to do varies every day. Yeah, I could believe that very easily. So with all of these, right, we're always trying to get to know sort of just how people got into this whole real estate thing, and then also how you found Keller Williams. So maybe talk to me a little bit about what did you do? Let's just even reverse a little bit more, but what did you do before real estate? What did you do before you ever even got with Keller Williams in real estate?
Yeah, so I actually graduated college in 2015, and I have an English degree, believe it or not. I speak English very well. I always joke that that's what my degree got me. And at the time I was graduating, I had no idea what I was going to do. And my dad was actually building a home with a realtor who happened to be with Keller Williams. And he basically went to, his name's Scott. He's still a really good friend of mine. And he said, Scott, can you please give my daughter a job, even if it's part-time, 10 hours a week? She just needs some experience, needs to get started somewhere. Scott graciously said yes, and I started as his marketing intern. So my career really started in new construction sales. I was 22 years old, selling multi-million-dollar custom new builds, and learned so much that first year. Got my real estate license and just really jumped right in and wanted to learn. I was a sponge. I wanted to learn everything I could about real estate so I could be the best. I was always an overachiever, wanted to know everything that I needed to know to be the best at what I was doing. So started in new construction sales. I'm from Minnesota originally. Some people may know that or may not. We have seasons here, and when it gets cold and snowy, new construction slows down just a smidge because it's hard to build and dig holes for the new homes. So sales slowed down, business slowed down. And at that time, Scott, the new construction builder, he became an investor in a new Keller Williams franchise. So they needed a front desk, and I stepped in there part-time just to have some income coming in and learn a new skill, practice, talking to agents, learning from more agents. That was really what I wanted to do out of that role. So that is how I got introduced to Keller Williams. And I really love that I got to start at the front desk, because that really kicked off my journey into leadership, and very, very grateful. I look back at that often and just appreciate, what that opportunity provided to me.
So you have a little bit here, right? So college 2015, you got the English degree, dad building the home with the realtor Scott, marketing intern, new construction sales, Dofi. And that's a lot. I mean, and how long from the graduating of college to that first day as a Dofi? What was the time frame there? Was it a year and a half, 2 years?
It was May to December. So if you can imagine,
wow. Okay,
whatever that is.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot shorter than I thought it is. Wow, that's a lot. So, all right, just a quick aside. How did you like doing sales? Right, because I've only ever known you through leadership, right? So I actually didn't know that you had a small background in sales. So how did you like it, at least?
I love sales. So even in college, I worked at Buckle. If you're familiar with Buckle, I sold jeans.
Oh, okay.
It's a retail store. They're known for like their jeans, and I like, for some reason, I just was really passionate about that. And I loved selling jeans. And then I went into new construction sales, believe it or not. But I mean, if I love selling something that I love, and that means something to me and I'm passionate about. So if you ask me to sell, I don't know, cat toys, that would be really tough for me. I wouldn't be great at it. But if you wanted me to sell dog toys or accessories for dogs, sure, I'd be happy to do that. And I think I'd be really great at it.
As long as it aligns with the passion, then you can
Absolutely.
sell it. So let's start fast forwarding a little bit, right? So that's a pretty good kind of how you kind of came into it. I love the just dad building with the home realtor, and he's just like, please give my daughter a job. Please let her do something. So then you're a Dofi. So now walk us through a little bit of how you became a Dofi, because this is a story that we want to hear, right? How did you come in from that sort of quote unquote entry level position at a market center level to now becoming the national community manager of KWYP? So take us through a little bit that journey from there to there.
Yeah, I had a great team leader. That was really who got me on the trajectory that I'm on today. She actually paid for me to go down to Austin, Texas, to take Quantum Leap with Gary Keller. And that was a pivotal moment in just thinking bigger and wanting more for my life. I think I must have been 23 then when I went to QL, and I didn't even know what I was going to do next week. I had no goals. I was just kind of flying by the seat of my pants and, living life. I just graduated, life was great. But when I took QL, I literally felt a switch happen. And I was like, wow, there is so much purpose in life. And now I know what my purpose is. And I'm really excited to get out there and do that. So that, fast forwarding, that just created opportunities for me. And what was cool about it is that I got to choose what the opportunities were. I think a lot of times we expect others to provide us opportunities and help us get there, yet that choice is really up to us, and we have the power to choose what opportunity is next for us in our journey.
Yeah, I love that. So your team leader, you said she was the one that sort of got you to QL and with Gary Keller. Now, is it somebody maybe that you met down there, or was it more of just that you just kind of found your purpose through that discussion of QL and everything like that? And then how did you move the needle forward? I guess maybe when did you get involved with YP then?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. So actually at QL, the previous manager at the time, her name's Katie, she actually came to the front of the class during our lunch break. Actually, it was the beginning of the morning. She said, hi, I'm Katie. I'm with KW Young Professionals. This is what we do. We'd love to, partner with you guys as you graduate from Quantum Leap today and help you get to that next opportunity. And I was like, what the heck? Why don't we have a Young Professionals chapter in Minneapolis? So I immediately went back. I did a lot of things. I moved out of my house, made that my first investment property, took on a new opportunity at the market center, and got in touch with Katie about launching the first Young Professionals chapter in Minnesota. So that was, really QL was such an important point in my life because it created my investment journey, it created my leadership journey, and it got me involved with KWYP.
Wow. Okay. So I didn't know that you launched the Minneapolis chapter. So,
Yep.
All right. Interesting. So you kind of went from launching, and then obviously once you were in Keller Williams Young Professionals, you started kind of, hobnobbing with everybody that's in it, and then eventually just kind of making your way up. So let's talk a little bit, because I think, so many people get into real estate in some capacity, entry level this or sales in some capacity. And then, they kind of make it for a little bit, but, you and I both know there's a lot of people who don't make it past that first year. They don't really, it just doesn't click for them. So maybe talk to me a little bit about, we're going to spread this, one way or the other. What was something that happened? Maybe you were lucky to have happen, or you really took advantage of an opportunity that happened. But then maybe what was something, I don't want to say you regret it or you'd go back and do it differently, but maybe what was something that you had a little stumble on? So talk to me about in that first year or two, what was something good that happened to you? And then maybe something that wasn't as great.
Yeah, I would say what happened for me that I didn't really realize that happened, and I would definitely recommend people tap into this, is really surrounding yourself with, they say 5 people that you surround yourself with is who you become. That is so true. I decided to part ways with some college friends that I wasn't in alignment with. Our tastes and interests were changing, and I got in alignment with my team leader and my MCA and a couple agents at the office, and my life changed, in so many different ways. They spoke the same language, they had the same goals, they wanted big lives. And that was something that I did really well, was I latched onto them, and they were such generous, thoughtful people that anytime I needed something or advice or coaching, they were always willing to give it to me. So that's something that I did really well, was I asked for help, and I got connected with really good, like-minded people that together we could all get to where we wanted to go in life.
So I want to just pull something out there, because I think, at least this is something personally I dealt with, and I've spoken to some other people who have had some similar things. The splitting with old friends conversation. Mm-hmm. That's hard, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you've built this identity of who you are, and you're happy with yourself, and part of your 5 are those people. But then you sort of caught at this crossroads. You say, to move forward with who I know I should be in the future might mean giving up some of his friends. And it's not that they did anything wrong. It's not that you had a fight with them, but you just knew for your future to move forward, you were going to have to cut ties with some people who were just bringing their energy bus in a different direction. So just talk about that a little bit more, because I think that's a really unspoken concept in moving forward in your career, is also getting rid of some friendships that, again, nothing wrong with them, but you're just going a different direction. So how did you maybe navigate that?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I think a lot of people don't know how to navigate it and just don't do anything about it. And for me, it depended on the relationship. So with one of my friends, I had to be brutally honest, and that hurt. Like, that was really hard for both of us. And I just said, I love you, and I cannot spend, it's almost like a relationship breakup in a way. And that's how I had to handle that particular relationship. And the other one, it was just, I became more and more unavailable, and I chose, to say no to certain events and outings, and yes to certain ones that I felt were safe and in alignment with what I was working on. And just over time, she began to ask me to hang out less and less. So it certainly depends on the relationship, and you need to understand your friend to know, if it's a blunt, honest conversation, or if it's slowly easing your way out of the relationship and spending more of that time back on you and focusing on what is important to you and what your goals are.
Did it lessen the blow a little bit as you did get more in alignment with your KW crew, right? With the people that you in your market center and things like that? Did those relationships, as they started to forge and as they started to take off, did it at least give you some positivity in the future? Like, no, I'm not giving up friends. I'm just reshaping the type of friends for where I'm at in this career. I mean, did that help, kind of looking forward at that next group of friends or next group of alignment people?
Absolutely. And actually, full circle, one of the friends that I had to split ways with, we're now best friends again. And I think KW almost makes you mature a little bit faster. And my friend needed an extra 5 years to kind of catch up to where I was and to where I wanted to go and be. And we just needed to separate for a bit, and she needed to go figure out her life and get settled in her career. Whereas I was 23, acting like I was 43, like settled in my career. I knew what I was doing, knew where I wanted to go. And now we're both 29, and we're friends again, and we have the same passions. And it just, that needed to happen in order for our friendship to be as strong as it is today.
I think there are a lot of people that have their college friends. Everybody says, look, we've all built a culture together, and it is totally a college culture. We all kind of need to move away from each other for a little bit, find ourselves, find that next generation of ourselves, and then come back if we can. So I think that's
Mhm.
common, more common than I think we think it is.
Yep.
So let's flash forward a little bit more to today. And I want to kind of talk a little bit about, what we can start to talk to our members about, our new leaders and everything about. So what if you're going to meet somebody for the first time? Let's say you're running QL or you're running a leadership symposium or something like that, and you really could give one solid nugget of advice to someone who's a leader, who's looking to become a leader or looking to improve their leadership skills. What's a concept that you like to sort of make sure that they have their head wrapped around, going forward, that they need to realize, or maybe something that you found out that was like really important to you as you've become a leader? So talk to me a little bit about those kind of the hidden gems in the leadership side.
Yeah, I would say getting out of your comfort zone is the fastest way to become a leader. And I'm not saying all leaders aren't out of their comfort zone, yet a majority of them are when they're leading in their space. And I mean, I'm an introvert naturally, and anytime I get in front of a group, that's me getting out of my comfort zone, and that's me becoming a better leader, whether it be me speaking or me listening and taking feedback or me teaching on a topic. That's a way for me to continue to be the best leader that I can for the organization that I partner with.
Yeah, I love that, getting out of your comfort zone, because it's so true. I mean, the people who stand at the front of the room who are going to be the tip of the spear, you can't be just doing all the things that you did at that point. You learned lessons from what you did up to that point, but to become that, again, that front of the room person, you have to get out of that comfort zone. I think that's kind of perfect. Let's start talking about who you insulated yourself with, because we talked so much about kind of splitting from this old friend group, finding your new people. Talk to me about maybe the three people, if you have one, two, or three most influential people to you, who's been there with you sort of from the beginning, who has supported your journey the most, and kind of what did they give you? What was that soft skill that they gave you to kind of keep going?
Yeah, actually my team leader from back in 2015, she's still around, still a great friend of mine. Her name's Bethany. She really taught me the importance of vulnerability and authenticity. She is very open about her journey and, what she's gone through to get to where she is. And she definitely encourages me to do the same, whether it be I'm struggling today or today's a really good day, let me celebrate, or how can I help you today? So she's been someone that I've followed and have partnered with and have, really been on this KW journey with since I started. And yeah, just she's been such a pivotal person in my journey for sure. Another person is actually my MCA, who still back in 2015, she's actually the one who hired me for the front desk position. She's definitely taught me to not apologize, at least not apologize as often as we normally do. It's, thank you for your patience, or, let's talk about this, or, what about this is upsetting you? And it sets the conversation up a little bit differently than immediately starting with, I'm sorry. Cause that's, admitting fault, and sometimes responsibility needs to be taken. Yet a lot of times it's such a phrase that just comes out because we're so used to saying it growing up as kids, or, whatever it might be. So she's definitely taught me to be a little bit more intentional about, how to start a conversation, how to have a fierce conversation, and, lead with your words.
That don't apologize so often.
Mm-hmm.
It's so subliminal.
Mm-hmm.
And we do it so often without thinking. But you're right. So often I've heard sales agents and overhear them. They get on the phone with a lead or somebody that they're trying to talk to, and I hear them literally apologize for calling them. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're doing this without thinking, but you're setting the tone completely wrong. So I love that, don't apologize so often. And there's just a better way to enter those. And then having the vulnerability and authenticity part, that's, I think, really important, especially for the early agent, because we almost want to come off when we're starting this career, when we're getting into sales, we're a new agent, something like that. You want to be bold and, I know everything. And I put up this facade of professionalism, and that helps me feel more mature, and that helps me look more. And honestly, sometimes being a little bit more real with your clients, or being real with another member that you're chatting with, that's what is going to get you past that glass ceiling there to actually have a proper conversation where you guys can actually come from a place of honesty when you go to have it. So I think that's great from Bethany to kind of learn that, and then from your MCA. So let's talk a little bit about, you're now, you said 29, right? I think you just celebrated a birthday not that long ago. What would you tell your 18-year-old self? What would be a piece of advice you'd give yourself if you had to go back and you said, look, I need you to know this for the next 11 years. This is something that I know now. And if I had known it earlier on, maybe I would have made some different decisions, or maybe I would have done differently, but what would you tell yourself?
It's kind of a two-part. The first part is trust your gut. For some reason, for me, I just have feelings about things, and a lot of times they're right. So trusting yourself, trusting what you know, and trusting the process so much that you can say yes. That's the part two, is say yes to opportunities, raise your hand and show up. I really think, and fortunately for me, that's what I did. And I would still tell my 18-year-old self this, is to show up. So many people, and I'm not saying this is right, wrong, good, bad, yet I feel during COVID, we've given ourselves the permission not to show up just because, for whatever reason. And I get that there's different situations for everything, yet we need to re-engage, we need to reconnect, we need to start showing up again so we can be there for each other and find out what opportunities are there for us that we may have not known were available or possible had we not shown up.
There are opportunities flowing at all times. I find it's the people who, from a market center standpoint, it's the people that are here, right? That come, and even if you don't have a desk, go work at one of the drop-in desks, right? Go work in the training room, go work in one of your conference rooms, just be present to be around those people. And then same thing for our chapter, right? And chapter members. Every chapter puts on different events. They have educational offerings, they have in-person offerings. The national does a good job with stuff. Other chapters outside your region have stuff. Man, if you want to get the value of what YP is all about, you got to be in those rooms, right? You have to be on those trainings. You have to be in those in-person events. You have to try and plug in a little bit. And that's only then will those opportunities find you. So as we kind of come into our last like 5 or 6 minutes here, one of the big questions that we always, it's such a Keller Williams question, but it comes down to, sort of what's your why? I mean, with you having kind of got into this business almost a little bit at the behest of your dad trying to help you out, you found your own road through it, right? You found your own passion with it. But then obviously, if you were just in this so, I don't think you'd be where you are today. So maybe talk to me a little bit about, what's your why today, and has it changed at all over the past maybe few years?
Yeah, I don't currently have any kids, don't currently have a partner. Yet I do have 2 siblings, and younger siblings, they set me on this, role model journey. And I sometimes look at KWYP as, my family, everyone's, my sibling in a way. And my why is to provide opportunities to others, which in return provides opportunities to myself. And I really believe that I get to do that through YP. It's a very selfless thing that I do. And I'm proud to say that, because I care so much about everyone else and helping them get to where they want to go. And I do truly believe in return, that'll help me get to where I want to go as well. So really my why is to provide limitless opportunities to young professionals and entrepreneurs within Keller Williams.
There's something buried in that. I love that. Provide opportunities for others, and that gives you the opportunities. But that second part, there's a lot of people who feel very similar to you. They always want to do more for others than they do in return. But there's a lot of them that almost are funny about accepting the opportunities that then come their way. So talk to me a little bit about, providing for others. I think we all really like to do that. I think you're gravitated towards Keller Williams because you like to do that, honestly, a service culture and everything. Yeah. But how do you maybe balance a little bit of that internal, like, I don't know if I deserve this or something like that, but you know what? I want to get out of my comfort zone. I want to take this new opportunity. It is something that I should stand up for, raise my hand for. So talk to me a little bit about how you feel comfortable saying yes to some of those opportunities as they come back to your direction.
Yeah, it's so funny you caught that, because I swear every time I come home from an event or we host an event, I go to my mom and I'm like, Mom, I don't know what I did to deserve this, but this event went off without a hitch. Like everything was perfect when it's planned. Everyone loved it. I don't know how I got so fortunate and lucky. And I see opportunities that come to me as an opportunity to showcase our members and our people. Like if I can be the first person to raise my hand and learn about it or speak through it, then I can say, why don't you go talk to Connor or, Katie or, somebody else in our organization about what they're doing, because it's also really cool. So again, I think it's funny also saying it, I provide opportunities come to me, but I use those opportunities to provide more for others. And I'll accept any opportunity, even if I'm questioning if I deserve it, because I'll use it to help others as well.
You are being an advocate through these
Sure.
opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
You are taking them the lens of this information or this platform will give me good for the good that I can then turn around and give it back to my member base, to my friends, to my colleagues, things like that. So I think that's great.
Well
all right, last question for you as we
Yep.
kind of wrap up to our end of our time here. What's next for you? What's next for you? What's next for you personally? And what's next that you see KWYP? And, as we're kind of closing out 2022 here in the last quarter, moving into 2023, just talk to me a little bit about the future here.
Yeah. So I'll start with personally. I just, relocated back to Minneapolis, bought my dream home. And I'm really just getting settled back into routine, spending every waking moment with my friends and family for time, that I was, spent in Texas, now, rekindling and just getting to spend quality time, which is my love language. So that's the only thing I'm focused on, for the rest of the year and into 2023 is catching up on lost time, reconnecting with friends that I didn't get to, when I was in Texas. Professionally, I sometimes joke about this, and I don't know if it's the best way to say this. I'm never leaving KWYP. Like I know we have an age limit, yet however long I can stay involved, however long I can be a part of leading the community, I've really found my home within Keller Williams. And KWYP is currently the largest we've ever been, which gives us opportunity to listen to our members, which we've always have. And it's a new way of listening, because we're getting to the size that we can now provide more training, more in-person events, and just more opportunities to connect and help our members accomplish their goals. So that's really what I'm focused on, is bringing in top tier, better training, more opportunities to connect in person, and then opportunities for our members to send and receive referrals or partner in investments or partner in resources, combine teams, whatever it might be. That's really what we're focused on doing. And I have no doubt that we're going to make it happen.
Your community building at home, getting reacquainted, and continuing the community building with KW. So, Cami, this has been great. I really appreciate you hopping on with us today and telling your story a little bit. Obviously, if anybody has any interest in KWYP, if you're not already a member, you can reach out to Cami, you can reach out to myself, or anybody in your local area's chapter leadership, and hopefully they'll be able to tell you some good things about it. So anyway, Cami, we're going to end the call here. So thank you again, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you.